Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is another basketball reaction, and it's another Jimmy High Roller video. The video is using numbers to find out who had the best game in NBA history. By the title, I can already tell this is going to be, I say already tell, I'm assuming it's going to involve a lot of stats and like an in-depth sort of look at certain games with the stats that Jimmy Howley likes to use in his videos, which I love, man. His statistical videos are some of my favourite on YouTube. Because just, I don't know why, for me, just stats are just very interesting, but yo, let's get into this. And yeah, I'm intrigued. Will Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game be suggested? Surely, because that's the highest scoring game like in NBA history. So surely that's going to be up there. Surely that's going to be like top three. Also, Kobe Bryant's 81-point game, like all those high scoring games. But I'm also intrigued to see like, because obviously it's going to involve other stats as well, not just points scored. But yeah, let's get into it. See what he's got to offer for his video, man. And I'm just interested in seeing what he's got because his videos are insane, man. Quick shout out to my Twitch. By the time you're watching this, I might be streaming, I might have just finished. But if you're interested in that, quick link in the description if you want to click that and follow. But let's get into this, man. Let's see what this video has to offer.
Last week, Damian Lillard had the performance
Lillard, not Lillard.
Career. On November 8th, Lillard dropped a career high and franchise record 60 points in a loss against the Brooklyn Nets. 60 points on 58% shooting and a perfect 15 for 15 from the line.
Wow.
These numbers are incredible. In fact, this stat line is so impressive, it ranks as the 54th best individual performance in modern NBA history.
God damn.
Well, his game ranks
with
as
60
the
points,
54th
that's 54th
highest game score since the introduction of the stat. See, game score is an interesting statistic. Created by John Hollinger in the early 2000s,
does this involve like all
is
aspects
an all-encompassing
of the game?
number that
Okay,
accounts for everything a player does in a game. Everything.
Okay.
If it is a recorded stat, the game score takes that into account. From points to field goal attempts and makes to turnovers and fouls.
Okay.
For reference, an average game score is 10. A good game score is 20. And an excellent game score is 30. Lillard's 60-point performance earned him a whopping game score of 46.8.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, in order to calculate a game score, all basic stats must be tracked. So games prior to the 1978 season are not included.
Damn.
With that being said, there are bound to be things that this stat does not reflect. A 3-point buzzer beater to win a game is more significant than a 3 to open up the game.
That's fair, that's a very good point.
In the game score, both of these shots hold the same value. So, although it doesn't tell us how impactful a player's performance was, it does tell us how great a player's performance was statistically. So, out of over 40,000 NBA games since 1978, who had the most dominant one? Well, to put into perspective how incredible a game must be to crack just the top 100, Larry Bird currently holds the 100th best game score since the stat was introduced, and he achieved it on March 12, 1985, when he dropped 60 and 7 on 61% shooting and
that's 100. Wait, what?
Had a game score of 44.8.
Mad.
So if this stat line warrants the 100th spot, what do the top 10 look like? Before we answer that question, let's dive into some of the more interesting best games ever. On December 13th, 1994, an average NBA player by the name of Willie Burton had the game of his life when he dropped 53, 8, and 3 on 63% shooting. Willie managed to score 53 points on just 19 shots.
Wow.
In the best game he would ever play in his entire life, Burton achieved a game score of 49.6. Willie Burton has career averages that are, well, average. But on that night, Mans was playing like one of the greatest players ever. A similar event happened to 76ers guard Dana Barrows back in March of 1995. Barrows, another average NBA player, morphed into prime Wilt Chamberlain for a night when he dropped 58 and 6 on 80% shooting.
Mad.
What's even crazier is that Barrows was just 5'10 and shot 2 free throws that night. But the madness
height don't matter, bro. Come on.
As if this game wasn't crazy enough, at the time, our good old friend Willie Burton was on the same team as Barrows. What
Oh,
are the
wow.
odds
That's
of
so
that?
random.
The only two relatively unknown players in NBA history to earn a game score of over 40, and they were on the same team during one of those games.
That is
But as
so
far as
unique.
average players having exceptional performances, that's it. Every other player to earn a top 100 game score is either a Hall of Famer, a future Hall of Famer, or a perennial All-Star.
Okay, so it's
So,
that's an elite
out
list
of
then.
over 40,000 NBA games that tracked a game score, which one was the highest, and by who? In November of 2017, LeBron James...
I said Brook Chambers. I assume his won't be in here because it's the stats, like this whole thing started in the 78 or 79, around that sort of time. And Brook Chambers, from what I remember, it was earlier than that.
James piled up a stat line for the record books. 57, 11, 7, 3, and 2 on 65% shooting while sinking all 9 of his free throws.
Wow.
The Cavs got the win, and LeBron achieved
I wish I could
a
do
game
that in 2K,
score
man.
of
I always miss.
53.2. One of the highest game scores ever.
9.
But
Okay,
only
so
good
good.
for 9th all-time. In fact, his current teammate Anthony Davis has posted a higher game score in his career. In 2016, while facing off against the Pistons, a 22-year-old Anthony Davis put up 59 and 20 on 71% shooting,
Jesus.
1 point shy of a 60-20 game, and a game that would earn him a game score of 53.9.
Oh my
good
days.
for 8th best all time.
At
But
20,
one of the most spectacular
22.
performances in NBA history came 3 seasons ago from a young Devin Booker when
Devin
he led
Booker.
the Celtics for 70.
This game, see, this is one of my favorite games, man, and he's one of my favorite players, man. This game was insane. I saw the highlights of this and I was blown away.
Points. The kid was just 20 years old
20,
and he
man.
dropped 70 points. Add that to his 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals while shooting 53% from the field and sinking 24 of 26 free throws, and you have a game score of 54.5, the 6th highest of
damn.
all time. But LeBron, AD, and Booker were all surpassed last season by a man who seems to have a historic night every other night. On January 30th,
Harden, bro.
2018, James Harden achieved the highest game score of any active NBA player when he put up a stat line straight out of a game of 2K. A 60-point triple-double. More
what?
specifically, a 60-11-10 triple-double
Oh
with
my.
4 steals, 63% shooting, and a game score of 56.
I remember seeing this in the last video.
This is
That's
a
ranked
once
4th.
in a
Oh
generation
my
type game.
days.
Virtually a perfect game. But somehow
Oh my
the Rockets
days.
still lost. And even more
They
shocking,
lost! They lost! How are you gonna...
this game ranks only 4th all-time in game score. In 1990, Karl Malone had a game that we
Karl
later
Malone.
know to be the
Damn
greatest
it.
game of his prolific career. In a near
He's not got the greatest track record, has he? But I mean, he was a great basketballer.
50-point blowout against the Bucks, Karl Malone scored 61 points, grabbed 18 rebounds, dished out 2 assists, and picked 3 steals while shooting a ridiculous 81% from the field. A dominant performance across the board and one that would earn
81%.
him the 3rd highest game score in NBA history of 60.2.
Look how far ahead that is of Harden's.
1978, only 2 players have had a better game. And
God
I'm sure
damn.
you can guess what one of those games is. It's January 22nd, 2006. The Lakers are playing the Raptors at home. In the month leading up to the game, Kobe Bryant was averaging 42 points. He was playing on a completely different level, but no one was aware of what they would soon witness that night. Because over the next 48 minutes, Kobe Bryant would score more points in a single game than any other player in modern NBA history.
81.
81.
This game.
We have yet to see any player approach since.
Second, that's
And
ranked
to add
second.
to
So what's
his
coming
on-side
first?
buckets, Kobe piled up 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and
Maybe I'm intrigued if Wilt Chambers, because I don't know which year that
3
was.
steals while shooting 61% from the field and sinking 18 of his 20 free throws. A performance
Legendary
that would
stuff,
define
man.
the Black Mamba. A night that would earn him a game score of 63.5.
Damn.
But if 81 points is only good for the 2nd best game since 1978, what could possibly
Assume
be number 1?
it's gonna be.
Bennett backs off another step, he'll take it. He backed off another step and Michael took it.
Michael Jordan. Oh, so it's not who I think it is. So I assume it was too longer before then.
That's the pick from Purdue from
Wait, how
long
many?
range. Jump shot. This will be good. Jordan over Price. That's what they've done. Price went for the steal. There's Jordan. He got away from him from 17 for his 59th and 60th points. He's got him.
Cleveland is absolutely shell-shocked right now. They can't believe that Michael Jordan can continue to do this.
69.
It's been unbelievable.
I guess this was a more all-round sort of performance.
You are watching, statistically, the greatest game since the introduction of
Wow,
game
that's
score.
Michael Jordan. Of course,
On
it's
March
Michael
28th,
Jordan, man.
1990, Michael Jordan amassed the best stat line of his entire career. 69 points, 18 rebounds, 6 assists,
Oh!
4 steals on 62% shooting
Yo!
and 91% from the line.
Man!
That would earn him the highest game
What's the
score
overall
ever
gonna be for this
recorded
then?
of 64.6.
Oh my god.
To put into perspective how great
That
this
is
game
that
was,
is insane.
there has only been one player in modern NBA history to record a 60-20 game. Michael Jordan, a 6'6", 190-pound shooting guard, nearly posted a 70-20 game
Oh my
while
days.
shutting down the court on the defensive end.
70-20, bro!
It's only fitting that the greatest player of all time has the greatest game
That
of
was
all
so
time.
close.
So here's a list of the top 10 highest game scores since 1978, 4 of which came from active players. Surprisingly, no centers cracked the top 10, but of the 8 players that did, 4 of them are shooting guards and 3 are power forwards. Michael Jordan and James Harden are the only players that have multiple spots in the top 10. When looking at the top
Fair play,
100
that's
game
very,
scores of all
very big.
time, one player stands far above the rest. And to no surprise,
Big.
it's MJ. Jordan has 18 of the top
Wow.
100 game scores in NBA history.
Jesus.
13 of which
I'm very interested about Harden Jordan, that he's completely blown them away with that. But I'm interested with Harden's. Like he seems to have these monster games.
came in a 2-year span
Wow.
between 1987 and 1989.
Oh my
The
days.
player with the second most top 100 games is James Harden, and it has taken him 10 seasons to achieve 8. Jordan piled up 13 in 2 seasons.
Oh
David
my.
Robinson produced 6 of the top 100 games since the game score was introduced, and Kobe Bryant has produced
Michael Jordan's a
5.
joke.
Even the best players to ever play may see just a few all-time games in their entire career. Take a look at this. From 1995 to 2014, a 20-year window, the entire NBA produced 32 all-time great performances. From 2015 to 2019, a 5-year window, the NBA has produced 29 all-time
Mad.
great performances. Over the last 5 seasons, NBA players have had nearly as many historic games as the prior 20 seasons.
And oh my,
Either-
wait, quickly, what date was this video uploaded? So this was about 6-7 months ago. So there may be like 1 or 2 more in this case that I've missed because obviously this video
Defense
is.
getting worse, offense
But the
is
NBA was still
getting
playing
much
at this
better,
point.
or a little bit of both. But these are just regular season games. What about in the playoffs?
Oh wow, I didn't
mean,
even realize
50
that.
points in the playoffs would undoubtedly be greater than 50 points in a regular season matchup. So, who has the highest game
Okay, let's see
score
this
of
one
any
then.
playoff game? It's not Kobe, it's not Harden, and it's not Michael.
Jay,
On May
James.
4th,
No.
1994, in the first round of the playoffs, none other than Sir Charles himself piled
Sir
up
Charles
the
Barkley.
highest game score since the stat was introduced.
Wow.
In a win against the Golden State Warriors, Charles Barkley scored 56 points, 24 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals on 74% shooting.
In the
a night that would earn
playoffs,
him
bro.
a game score of 52.6. In fact, Barkley's performance was so dominating that night that he's the only player to ever achieve a playoff game score higher than 50.
Bro. That's oh my days. In the playoffs, man. I'm just looking at this because I'm really intrigued in seeing who else is on here.
Oddly enough, Michael Jordan is the only player that has a
2.
top 10 regular season game
With
score
2.
and a top 10 playoff game score. No other player since the introduction of the game score has a top 10 dominating performance in both the
Crazy.
regular season and the playoffs, which is fascinating. So who had the greatest game of all time? Well, according to game score, That would be Michael Jordan. If we are referring to when it matters most in the playoffs, it's Charles Barkley.
Okay, I see that.
Let me know in the comments below, what was the best NBA game you've ever watched? Any surprises on this list? Be sure to subscribe to join High Roller Nation.
This
And as
video
always,
was so good,
until next
man.
time.
It's so... the way he makes his videos is insane, man. They're so intriguing. Intriguing, man. They're so intriguing. Damn, imagine what some of what game scores. Exactly, man. Exactly. Because he was from the 60s. I did think that he wouldn't be in this. That would be so interesting to see what his scores would have been. If game scores, I think during the 60s, Wilt would have averaged a top 100 game score. Yeah, 100%. He would have averaged that. Whoa, wait, what? That if yeah, I mean, looking at his stats, you can't deny that because Wilt was an absolute monster. He was ahead of his time. He was miles ahead of his time, man. MJ about to come back and beat Charles Barkley's score. I would think a key in his quadruple doubles would have been high. Oh hell, he's like achieving 48 points, 70 rebounds, 12 blocks, 7 steals, 6. Yeah, this stat is interesting. I guess it's all down. It's a bit subjective because you can't like see the context and all that. But I mean, you can see the context of it being in the playoffs and that. But like, it doesn't like well, like he said at the start. If someone scores a 3-pointer at the start of the game compared to a 3-point in a game winner, it doesn't equate to something different. But I guess in cases in this video, that may have been the case in some of these scenarios. But still, if it was a 100-point game from points alone, it would have gotten 70 since. Yeah, that 100-point game, bro. Like Kobe's 81 point was second, but that MJ game was wild as well. To be fair, man, these videos are really intriguing. Just seeing like which players like have these sort of monster moments, and I assume it's going to be all these players. But it's interesting to see there was 2 MJ games in the top 10 in the playoff one and just the regular season. But Harden as well, he had 2 as well. That was very, very interesting to see that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and until next time, like, subscribe, peace.